Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, Say What's Real TV. This review is for Tyler Perry's Sistas, Season 6, Episode 19, Dear Karma. So we open up the episode exactly where we left off, with Penelope walking up on the ladies and wanting to know exactly what was going on, what were they talking about. So she is literally begging them to tell her what is going on. Andy's telling her, look, I think you should go talk to Gary. Go talk to your fiance, please. Danny got tired of all the back and forth and them beating around the bush about the situation and told Penelope, look, Gary and Andy have been together for years. So I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, Danny. The math is not mathing. We, as the audience, know that this entire series from Season 1 to Season 6 has probably only been about 3 months, 3 to 4 months max. So with that being said, in Season 1, Episode 1, we actually hear that Andy and Gary have been secretly dating for 6 months. So really, they've only been together, 9 months total?
Who are you? Hi. Hi.
You're Gary.
Danny? What? We've been waiting to meet this mystery man for 6 months.
Hey,
Damn, you found Gary? How are you?
Yeah, I know. He travels a lot. That's why you don't see him.
Now, peep out, even back then, Gary was using the excuse of traveling and working to juggle all these different women. And Andy was using that to make excuses for the fact that she felt ashamed to let the girls know that she was dealing with a married man. But Karen was the only one out of the group that knew the truth. So with that being said, I'm not understanding why Andy is shocked and appalled that Penelope even exists, because she knows what he's capable of. So we get back to Penelope demanding to know the truth, asking Andy, what is going on? You were the one that was effing him. You tell me. Andy proceeds to let her know, look, we are in love. I thought we had something special. I thought I could be in the position you are in now and have what you have. I'm assuming she's talking about a baby, because other than that, I don't know what she has. But anyway, she says she tried to make it work. She thought he was trying to make it work, but it just wasn't working, and she ended it about a week ago. So they come to the conclusion that Gary has been sneaking and creeping around with the both of them at the same damn time. So Danny, she then points out that the ring that Penelope has on is also the same ring that Gary gave to Andy when he proposed to her, and Andy confirms this and says, yes, that's my ring. Penelope has some type of revelation where she remembers where Gary was on the phone talking to someone named Andy, and he told her it was a guy that he actually worked with. Andy tells her, no, that was me. So Andy, she asks Penelope, was she wearing a particular type of perfume called Laneka, because she smells it, and it's the same perfume that Gary bought her when he went on a trip to Paris. So, this actually happens in real life, where the guy goes and he buys the main chick and the side piece the same gifts. It's unbelievable. Like, really unbelievable. Men are trash, when I tell you. So anyway, they come to the conclusion he's a liar, he's a bastard, this and that, he's all that. He's raggedy as hell. That's what he is. And Penelope, now she's really upset. She don't want nobody to touch her. She taking her anger out on the girls. Don't touch me. Don't touch. Girl, go sit down. So the guys, they come back in the house, and Rich says that they put the fire out in the back, not knowing that the flames have spread to the inside of the house, and it is hot up in there. So Jordan, he comes in, and everybody's looking at him, and he looking at them, and he want to know why everybody looking crazy in the face, like, what's up? So he goes to his sister, asks her if she's okay, and she tells him no. So now he's demanding for someone to start talking to tell him what's going on, because his little sister is upset. So Gary, he comes in, and everybody's looking at him, and he's over there nervous and shaking in his boots, talking about, oh shit. And Danny says that's the mofo right there that needs to start talking. So basically Danny was telling him, you better act like you Usher and start confessing, because if you don't tell it, I will. So Gary, he asked Penelope, can they go somewhere and talk? And Danny said, hell to the no. That's that BS. You're going to talk right here so we can all hear you tell the truth, sir. He said, Danny, I thought you were leaving. This is a private matter. She saying nothing private about this. And he pointed his finger at her like, basically trying to say, shut the hell up. So that basically sent Danny into telling all the tea. So she gave the whole rundown, made it clear for Jordan that they've been sharing Gary at the same damn time. Told Jordan how he proposed to Andy, and Andy turned him down because she got a little bit of sense sometimes. and how he gave that ring to Penelope, which does not add up. But we're going to keep it moving, okay? So she told him about the cars and the apartment and the penthouse and this and that and the other, and basically couldn't believe he da-da-da-da-da-da-da up in her face. And Sabrina was like, yeah, girl, he did that. So Jordan wants to know how long ago this was, and Danny says that it was last month. So that's when Andy asked Penelope how far along in her pregnancy she was, and Penelope says that she is 7 months. So Jordan, he tried to fake charge Gary, then Rich stepped in and he says to Rich, why are you holding me back? I'm like, Jordan, if you really wanted that smoke, you would have been all over Gary's head, child. So then Tony, he steps in and he's highly upset to the point where Rich has to tell him to calm down. And he don't want to hear any of that. He tells Gary he needs to get out. He said that we allowed you into our circle. We told you our value as men and that we don't do this type of stuff. And you pretended to be our friend. And on top of that, got the nerve to be playing Penelope. He continues to tell him how men don't do this type of stuff, boys do, and he should take his belt off and whip his behind. So Gary, he had the nerve to tell them to calm down, and he gets the waterworks running with all these fake tears, talking about, yes, I flirted with Andy, I messed around with her, but she means nothing to me. I only had sex with her just because she was there, and just basically letting Andy know he don't give a damn about her. Told her she was a side piece, she was a mistake, she wasn't marriage material, and just telling Penelope, look, I'm not perfect, but I swear, I'm going to be a better man for you and my baby. Penelope told him to get out. She hauled off and slapped the hell out of him. What I find interesting about that whole scene is that Gary could sit up there, beg and plead the next woman, professing his love to her and say all that hurtful stuff about Andy in front of everybody. And I'm willing to bet any amount of money that when Gary goes knocking on Andy's door, she will take him back just for him simply saying, oh, I had to say all of that stuff because of blah, blah, blah. And if he comes with any kind of expensive gifts, he in there. So Danny, she's asking where the knives are. And Tony, he over there talking about he got a gun in the van. And Rich got to tell him, oh, calm down with all that. It ain't time for all of that. So we're seeing that Tony is the hothead. Tony has maybe anger issues. He likes to get in kerfuffles and got some stuff about him. But you got this big black van with dark tinted windows and you got a gun in there. Like, what's up with Tony? So Gary, he still wants to plead his case to Penelope and she's telling him just to get out. And Jordan, he steps in between, gets all up in Gary's face like, I don't give a F what you talking about. You need to leave. He looks up at Rich. Rich just nods his head like, you gots to go, bruh. No pun intended. So Gary, he finally leaves. So now Andy, she's ready to go. So she's getting ready to leave. And Jordan stops her and asks her, did she know what was going on? And she says, of course not. So we see Maurice, he makes it to the club. And apparently he done ditched Calvin somewhere in the dusk because we don't see Calvin. So he hooks back up with his little friend that normally bartends at the bar. So they talk about the bank robbery case and how it's finally over. And Maurice says he's going in the morning to try to get his job back. So he tells Maurice that he's happy for him and how he felt about Maurice running behind Peter and almost losing his freedom. And tonight they're going to celebrate Maurice's freedom. So they see this guy from across the way that's over there staring at Maurice, and the guy, he walks over. So he introduces himself. His name is Patrick. He tells Maurice he recognizes him from the bank and how he goes in there sometimes and that he used to check him out, but he didn't because he was with someone at the time, but now he is single. So I hope this doesn't mean we're going to see Patrick coming in the bank every 5 minutes the way Zach be over there at that law firm. So Patrick, he asked Maurice, did he want to get out of there? And Maurice shut it down like, no, I'm not going nowhere to F you. He said, no, it's nothing like that. I just don't like all the noise. So Patrick, he suggests taking a walk in the park because that's just something he likes to do. And Maurice basically shuts it down saying, you know, he left that life a long time ago. He's not effing him in no park because they used to call him swing set back in the day. So he says he was joking or whatever. And Patrick was like, you know, I think you're funny, but it's nothing like that. So Maurice just shuts the whole thing down because he's trying to be cautious when he meets new guys because he doesn't want the same situation he had with Q. So Patrick, he then offers up his number and he's looking for a pen and piece of paper, and Maurice is looking at him like he must have been out of the game for a while. Like, what's up with that? Like, hey, there's social media, like there's other means here. And he gives him his phone to put his number in the phone, and Patrick was taking a long time with it, like he wasn't good at technology or something. And Maurice was like, well, can you read? And I guess he put the number in there. It took him a little minute. So he hands Maurice his phone back, and he asks Maurice who was that on his screensaver. And I'm like, excuse me, sir, none of your business. And I felt a little certain kind of way because it was giving me red flags. It was kind of the way he said it for me, as if he was insecure and have jealous tendencies. But he says, is that my competition? And Maurice tells him, no, it's not your competition because that's an old friend of mine. You can't compete with him. He's no longer here. So at this point, he's apologetic for even suggesting that or whatever. But my thing is, too, when you first walked up to Maurice, if you were so concerned about any type of competition, you should have already asked Maurice, was he involved with someone before even asking him to take a walk with you? So they give a toast for him to measure up to being a good friend. And he tells Maurice that he thinks he's cute and to call him. So he walks off. So Chris, he runs back over there and they're gawking over how fine they think Patrick was. And he wants to know what Chris thought about it. And Chris said he seemed like a nice guy. And Maurice was like, yeah, he's like fine sugar, granulated, just like he likes him. So he said he wanted to leave with Patrick really, really bad, but he has to pump the brakes because he does not want the same situation like he had with Q. So we see the ladies in the car leaving Jordan's house, and Andy is visibly upset and depressed and hurt and all of that, staring out the window, not saying a mumbling word. Danny's in the back talking a mile a minute, saying how she can't believe what just happened and recanting the whole situation, calling Gary all kind of names in the book. Sabrina's trying to tell her to be quiet, Andy's hurting, blah, blah, blah. So when Sabrina says, Danny, do you want me to drop you home first? Of course, all of a sudden, Danny's not ready to go home. She wanted to keep driving. Then she comes with this bright idea. Oh, I know. Let me call Karen. Because, see, Danny doesn't want to go home because she doesn't want to face Preston. She had all this energy earlier, but now she don't want to go home to talk to Preston. So she calls Karen, and Karen over there minding her business, and tells her, look, what are you doing? Because we're going to come over there. And Karen was like, well, who is we? Sabrina over there like, no, we not, because we're getting ready to go home. Danny didn't give a damn what Sabrina was talking about. She was like, look, we got to tell you what just happened on this little triple date. So she says, we'll be there in like 15 minutes. And then after she makes the plans, asks Andy, did she want to go over there? Andy didn't say a word. So basically it was like, girl, we'll tell you everything once we get there. So after they hang up, Karen is asking herself, what the hell is going on now? So they get over there with Karen, and Danny is looking for liquor, and her and Andy go back and forth bickering about, her rubbing it in or whatever. And Karen is like, can someone please tell me what's going on? So Andy, sitting straight up like some damn statue, proceeds to slowly tell the story about what happened over at Jordan's house and how they ended up finding out about Penelope and Gary. So Karen, she's being compassionate towards her, but she does tell her, I knew it was a reason I didn't like him. He wasn't ish then, and he still ain't ish. And Andy wants to know why she's sitting here feeling like ish. So then she tells Karen about the most hurtful part to her when he told her that she was nothing, that she meant nothing to him, and that she wasn't marriage material. So Karen tells her that that's not true. And Danny says, well, he only said that to you because he wanted to hurt you because he got caught. So now she's trying to get reassurance from them that she is marriage material. I honestly don't think she's marriage material either. I mean, you out here having threesomes, you're sleeping with Paris, you're sleeping with all these different men, and Gary knows about the guys. You tell him just how much their Peter and sex is better than his. So, like, what guy wants to make that his wife? Like, come on, in what world? No, ma'am. And are you even domesticated in any kind of way? Do you cook? Do you clean? Do you do anything? Do you even want to have kids? I've never heard her talk about kids. Now, she did ask Gary one time after the whole Jasmine rubber bullet thing to meet his son, And Gary shut it down and said it wasn't the right time. But I've never heard her say she wanted kids. I might have missed it, but I haven't heard it. Penelope over there with child. So apparently she wanted kids. So I don't know. But I think her being so hurt is coming from embarrassment more than anything. Like, I'm the shit. How dare you talk down to me and make it seem like I'm nothing in front of everybody. So Danny tells Andy that she should have let her and Tony beat Gary's behind, and Karen is wondering who is Tony. So Danny says, he's trying to be my new boo. Sabrina says that they are just alike. So Danny, she does agree that they are alike and says they are the voice of reason. But if you ask me, they're the ones that everybody else got to calm down all the time. So Andy comes to the conclusion that this is her karma and all of this is coming back on her. Yes, it is your karma, and it is what it is. Because again, you get them how you lose them. She brings up how he was cheating on Jasmine with her, and now he's cheating on her with someone else. But technically, Penelope was there before you, but hey, whatever. So Sabrina's trying to say, well, you know, you didn't know because he was going through a divorce at the time. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Andy was fully aware that Gary was married, and she continued to mess with him. And when you say, how are you supposed to know, Sabrina? You're supposed to know when you see that the divorce is final and you see the paperwork. That's how you know, ma'am. So stop with all this fool-la-la trying to make her feel better about the decision she decided to make, okay? So Karen tells her, well, it's good that you know now. And again, I still feel like Andy will still talk to Gary. She's still going to mess with him. So all this little kumbaya moment they having is going to be all for nothing and a waste of their damn time. Because Andy really don't believe that fat meat is greasy. She don't. So we'll see how long it take before she go running back to him. So Karen says, why don't you do what I'm doing? And that's taking a break from dating. So then she makes some little smart remark about, Karen, you kind of have to because you're pregnant. And I'm like, plenty of women date pregnant, but then you were just trying to hook her up with somebody with Tony, asking for a fourth good guy. So what are you talking about? So Andy says maybe she should do the same and just focus on herself. And of course, Danny over there talking about, oh, so wait a minute, you just met a great guy and you want to take a break? Like, yeah, she still needs to take a break, Danny. The only reason you want her to keep talking to Jordan is so you can hook up on the little triple double date type thing so you can use Andy as an excuse while you hanging around Tony. So Karen says she's ordered pizza and Danny is trying to stay around so she can get some of the pizza, and Sabrina's like, nope, we gotta go. You got unfinished business. Preston is waiting to have a conversation. And that is what Danny is trying to avoid. So Andy, she jumps up and says that she has to go to work in the morning, and Karen is still trying to get them to stay, but Sabrina was like, we'll call you later. So we go over there to Hayden's house, and he's sitting there drinking liquor in the middle of the night while Tamara was up in the bed asleep. Gary comes banging on the door like the police, and he lets him in. Gary wants a drink, and he told him, look, you're not going to be here that long. What do you want? So he explains how he got caught in the act between the two women and how he likes Penelope and likes Andy, and, you know, he can't really go talk to either one of them right now. They're not talking to him. He says something about Penelope is like a legal matter because of the baby, and I really didn't understand why that was or would be. Hayden really didn't have any information for him. He's just trying to get upstairs to Tamara, and then Gary got a little jealous and started talking about his relationship with Tamara, saying that he doesn't really know her, saying that Tamara doesn't want him. And Hayden was like, look, just because you're frustrated, you like, why you coming to my house trying to blow up my spot? Like what I got going on. So Hayden told him just go home. He said he can't go home because it may take a couple of days before he can worm his way back in over there with Penelope. And he can't go over there to talk to Andy because he done said all kind of crazy stuff in front of everybody. So Hayden asked him, what did he say? And of course, he didn't want to tell Hayden what he said. So now he's ready to go. So he leaves, and Hayden told him good luck. So we go over there to Zach and Fatima's, and Zach, he can't sleep. And Fatima wakes up and they start talking, and he says he's worried about Michael, wondering what's going on with him. Can't wait for in the morning when they can go to the courthouse to see what's going on. And she suggests that they go down to Heather's job, and he was like, no, they want to do it the right way. So Zach, he gets into the whole backstory of going to the club that night, just breaking up with Karen, mad at her, just wanting to feel good, going out with his boys. They go to the strip club. He didn't have but $20 in his pocket, went in the VIP room, did what he did with Heather. He really didn't remember any of it, really. And Fatima jokes with him about running up into Heather raw, knowing she was a stripper. He felt some kind of way about her judging him, and she was like, look, I'm just saying. So I don't know if this dialogue is supposed to be setting the scene for this to be anybody's child and not Zach's child. Who knows? But, I mean, everybody makes mistakes. It was a mistake that you had, so I don't know why every episode we're talking about how you made this mistake. You're 30-something years old, so it is what it is at this point. It's time to find out what's up with Michael, do what you got to do, and move forward to be this great father that you want to be. So Fatima, she reassures him, of course, that they will get Michael, and he says, this is my fight, it's not yours. She says, any fight of yours is a fight of mine. So they tell each other that they love them, and Fatima says, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Just hold me until we fall asleep, and before you know it, it'll be morning. So it seems like as soon as they get into a good deep sleep, Fatima gets a phone call, and it's Miss Cheryl, Heather's neighbor, and she's telling her, look, y'all need to get over here. It's a bunch of paramedics all over the place, and it's looking really bad. Fatima, she jumps up, she's frantic, like, is it Michael? Is it Michael? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I don't know, but it's not looking too good, so y'all need to get here. She was like, all right, we on our way. So she hangs up, she's frantic, trying to wake up Zach. She's telling him, get up, we gotta go. It's Michael, get up, we gotta go. He over there like he was asleep for real, moving with molasses in his ass. And I'm like, get your butt up, Zach. And the episode ends there. Ooh, child. What did y'all think of that episode? That damn Gary is raggedy as hell. You hear me? But I do think that Andy will go back to Gary. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. As always, you guys, thanks for the support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.